What's going on, everybody? That's right, this your boy Play Be Chillin'. My man Rev over here. I want to welcome everybody to the Apocalypse Project podcast. What's going on, Rev?
What's going on, everybody? Hey, we got a couple of special guests today live and on Messenger. We have C.J and Bina. So anyway, before we start the show here, I have first off, hello to you two.
Good morrow.
Good morrow. So
hello, Gabna.
Before we start the show, I have this new segment that I got to get off first. We did in the last show where
you're gonna get off again.
I got to get.
Man,
Must
drink a lot of water.
I'm trying new flavors that I've never tried before, and these are like both these beers.
So you're bi-curious.
I am curious. I'm extremely curious about the size of these cans.
I don't think they could see you, Rev. You're cut off to them.
No, they can see me. They can see me. There we go. So anyway, so I have these cans, and I'm just upset because I couldn't.
know he's on there.
Yeah. So I tried.
Wait, can you hear us?
Yeah, we could hear you.
Oh, I thought we were muted.
So anyway, so I have these cans of beer. So this is the one I tried last time, and this is a Indian Pale Ale. I don't know if you've ever had that, CJ. It's the Deftones Phantom Bride Indian Pale Ale.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah, those are good.
Are you sure you've had them?
Yeah, my brother collects the cans and we drink them too. So
that's a long name. That's a mouthful for a bi-curious beer.
It's pretty hoppy. That's all I got to say about that. I still haven't finished.
No, yeah, it's pretty good. I like it.
This is from the last show, so I'm going to set that aside over there. And then this one right here, I actually got from a new friend of mine who's been a longtime friend of yours, Bina, Yesenia. Let me try to. Oh, how do you open this?
You want me to open it for
I
you?
said Yesenia.
Rookie. He don't know how to open these. They're childproof.
Yeah, she had somebody gifted her this beer and she wasn't gonna drink it, so she was like, "Hey, here, you can try it."
Oh, that's good. Pineapple?
It's pineapple.
Wow, it's beer and diabetes. Shit.
So I thought it was really interesting because it's pineapple beer, and I'm like, all right, let me try it. But I'm gonna take my first.
I don't
sip
think
of
it's
it.
pineapple beer. I think it's beer that's flavored.
Oh,
pineapple.
So late.
Wow.
Wow, she's gonna see this. By the way, she does follow us on.
We're gonna call you Bina. Wow.
Well, whatever.
So now she's gonna know. She's
people.
going to know what kind of friend you are.
I was thinking
or lack thereof.
like a past friend, like, you know.
I said current friend. Wow, you're such a great friend. You
just dug yourself in a hole. I think we should just stop talking.
Okay, wait. I need to drink this beer before we get started. So anyway, yeah, I told her I'm gonna wait till I get on the show and take it because
I'm gonna take it, huh?
I'm gonna take it on the show.
He's curious and he's gonna take a pineapple. I mean the beer. Shit. My bad.
Hey, like little Nicky.
Yeah. Little.
So anyway, so here I go. I'm gonna take a sip.
Put it in your mouth. Big boy time.
Don't choke.
Yeah. He's a
Actually,
guzzler.
It's actually pretty good.
Well, because it's a frou beer.
A little bit there.
I did.
He's drunk.
Hey, what?
Wipe the chin.
Wait,
Wipe the chin.
this Deftone is 7.1 alcohol content. What is that? I didn't even check this one.
I don't even want to check mine. What am I drinking?
Oh, 5.5. 5.5. Man. Yeah, jeez. Don't take advantage of me.
Oh, mine's 4.0.
So, anyways, I'm going to try to finish this before
I'm
the
all
show's
sad.
up.
Mine's 4.0.
So, anyway, CJ, Sabrina, welcome. How you guys doing?
Straight, we're good. Yeah, thank you.
All right. Well, there's a lot of interesting things, and I don't know if you happened to catch the show that just dropped. We talked to Heather Lee of Exploration Paranormal from Vegas, and there was a couple of things that we talked about that actually reminded me a lot of your paranormal experiences, Bina. Though I know you probably haven't heard the show yet because it just came out today. We're recording this on Friday. What is it, the 18th or 19th?
I didn't graduate.
So
19th. Yeah.
But I wanted you, and we're gonna treat it with the respect and reverence as we should have the first time around.
So you're saying mute my mic, right?
But like because we did a show years ago where you graced us with your presence, and you were talking about
or whatever.
Yeah, you were talking about a couple of your paranormal experiences. One of them was about the fedora ghost.
There you go.
And there was an interesting. The Dick Tracy ghost. That's what it was.
Yeah.
So there was this interesting thing that Heather was talking to us about shadow people, and she mentioned shadow people, and one specifically that has
Hats.
a fedora hat. And as soon as she said that, I'm like, oh, that's Bina. So can you walk us through that experience one more time?
I'm gonna mute my mic so that way everybody feels that peace. I cut myself halfway through so you can hear me cutting it off.
He's having fun. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm having fun.
God,
Okay, bye.
yes. Oh my God. No, yeah, it was when I was a child. It was when we were living over on the south side. Oh no, we're visiting Auntie Gina's
Yeah.
on the south side of Modesto. And I remember coming down the stairs and going to Auntie Gina's room. Remember, it was downstairs.
Yeah.
And I looked back up and I saw this figure go across her upstairs hallway. And I remember like stopping and I noticed the hat and then it went. And then I ran to the room.
Yeah,
Back into Gina's room. So
what did you think about it? Like, what was your first initial reaction to it?
scared because I was a kid.
Shit.
Did you tell anybody? I don't think you. If I remember right, you didn't say anything.
I didn't tell anybody, really.
When was
I
it?
more kept it to myself until later on. Then I would tell people. When I started seeing more ghosts, and then I told people
Damn.
about that one.
Okay, so what was the earliest instance that you? Well, first of all, do you believe in the paranormal? Like honestly, like legitimately.
Yeah.
So that's just because of these couple paranormal experiences that you've had multiple times. That says, hey, I'm a believer. But do you think there's any other ways you could explain any one of these? Like maybe there was somebody you didn't realize was upstairs. They happened to run by.
Man, that's a big coincidence.
We were all
though.
downstairs. We were all downstairs in Auntie Gina's room. I went to grab more blankets because all of us were in there, the cousins.
Was this at night?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They always kept I think they always kept the light upstairs on. That's why I saw a shadow. Like, it was like still seen even though it was dark because there was a light on up there.
Yeah, because we were
And
talking
everybody was
with
downstairs.
Heather, and a lot of people report these shadow people that are even if you would see them in the dark, they're still darker than the dark, if that's even possible. The shadow people, I'm saying, like, even if you're in a dark room, you still see something darker in the corner, or you know what I mean? It's like these shadow beings are supposedly like super dark. Can we say dark now?
No, that's actually racist. You can't say dark.
And we can't even say ghost, huh? I don't think ghost. We can't say ghost anymore either. That's derogatory to ghost.
So you went? Did you go? I mean, you're pretty young. Cause you're probably like 7 or 8, I think.
Probably around there.
Because no, I think younger than that.
It was like young.
So what was your natural progression of thought? Like, oh, okay, well, there's somebody, I'm scared, but I'm just gonna go back to the room and not say anything.
I didn't think anybody was up there. I didn't think like an intruder because it wasn't a person.
You just knew it was a ghost, like instinctively.
Well,
right?
Yeah, I just knew it was something that.
How instinctive are you to think? Oh no, that was a ghost, but it's not an intruder, so
Well,
I can go fall asleep.
I think it's for the fact that you'd seen a shadow in broad day, like and not daylight, but in light. You know what I mean? Let's say you're looking up your hallway, and at the end of the landing, there's like a wall, and it's lit up, and you see a shadow there. I mean, what else could it be?
I don't know. Okay,
Right?
CJ, what about you? Are you a believer in the paranormal?
Yeah, 100%.
Have you had experience that caused you to then believe that?
I think when I was older, as a child, it was just stories.
Okay,
You know.
so you never personally had an experience where you saw something that you can't explain through.
The seeing came later. It was like after I turned 21.
Mm.
So that was like 10 years ago. That's when the seeing started happening. But at first, it was mostly noises.
Oh, dude!
Like I remember a night when I was 15. I was in my room and I had a desk and I used to have a change drawer. And it was about midnight, and I was just trolling the phone, whatever. And I hear like someone I had a handful of change and just threw it on the floor. And I got up, it just scared the shit out of me, to be honest. And I turned the light on, and there's not a single dime, penny, quarter on the floor. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
See, I've always had experiences, but they've been auditory. I've never seen anything visual. I don't know if I want to, though. You know what I'm saying? But growing up, I would hear ghosts and hear things. Instances where my whole family, my mom, my sisters, my dad, all at the same time heard things. So it's not, like, you know, it's not something that I just dreamed up. You know what I mean? So, me personally, I believe in ghosts now. Or I don't know if they are. I don't think ghosts are actually dead ones, loved ones that passed on. I think maybe there's something sinister there, but that's just my opinion. I don't know. What do you guys think on that?
What they actually are?
Yeah, like, can they be dead people that's passed on that didn't cross over, or can they be demonic, or, you know what I mean, something to that effect?
You want me to go?
Yeah.
So your personal belief is demonic, and you're asking mine.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, because personally, I don't believe their loved ones dead and gone. Because if my grandmother wouldn't want to scare me in that kind of way, you know what I mean? So I don't believe it that way. I believe it's something else. Maybe the Nephilim or something to that effect.
Oh, damn, you're going Nephilim. Okay. Well, first off, let's go back to, like, you know, being a Hispanic Latino upbringing. Like, there's always the stories, right?
Yeah.
You know, there's always the stories. So as a kid, that sparked my interest. And from when I hear the stories, it's like my grandma was a witch, and then her mom was a witch. Like, on the technical terms of it, on the technical terms.
But even witches, even they're not bad people. Like,
you can't just throw out.
But
okay, I understand that, but you can't just. Oh yeah, my grandmother was a witch, and just not break that down a little bit, because I'm pretty sure we're not talking about like the hocus pocus kind of like witch, right? Are we talking about?
Oh no, this is like old school, you know, Mexican grandma type shit, like.
My grandma used to do like the onion and doing the egg on my brother when he was.
Like in all like technical terms. Yeah, in all technical terms, that's witchcraft in all aspects. I'm not saying my grandma was, but when I hear the stories, the only thing I can piece together is like, holy shit. Like, there's like mystics and witchcraft going on,
right.
Yet they're Catholic.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think that's tied in with Catholicism. They have those superstitions like that too, though. So your paranormal belief just stems from the fact that you've just heard stories, and then as you got older, you had some paranormal experiences, but you've never seen an apparition, though.
Apparitions, no. Shadows, countless of times, really.
Man.
Well, wouldn't shadows
Heard
be
voices?
Wouldn't shadows be apparitions?
No, when you say, I don't know, maybe I don't know the.
We need Heather on the line.
Yeah, but when you say apparition, to me, I'm seeing like a person, like a ghost human looking. You know what I mean? Like a shadow person, I think is its own category in a way, because you have the shadow people and then you have ghosts, if you will, right? You know what I mean?
I don't know.
Yeah, but you can also have like the repeaters or the smart ones, you know.
The what? Wait. Okay. Because I'm an idiot, you need to explain these.
You gotta
terms.
speak slow when you talk to Rev.
So it's
the pineapple.
You
beer.
you said repeaters, right?
Yeah, it's a continual loop of time, just like it's an energy caught in a
like stuck in a particular place.
Okay,
yeah, like something that's so traumatic, it just plays and plays and plays. You know, like when they say they hear screams, when they hear
at the same time of day or something.
Exactly.
La Llorona.
No, that's an actual, probably an entity that was made out of the energy of fear throughout the years of the legend being true.
Like Slender Man in a way.
So
right?
yeah, because we talked about that too, and we're going to reference a lot of our conversation with Heather, because there was a lot of stuff that we learned. Because she talked about the Philip experiment. Mm-hmm. And the Philip experiment was basically a group of investigators got together, and they, in their mind, they started talking to this entity called Philip. But there wasn't an entity called Philip. But because in their mind they kept believing they were talking to a Philip, they actually willed an entity in real space called Philip.
Well, that's why I say you can speak into existence. You know,
hey Benny,
that's kind of like a.
You could.
It's kind of like a tulpa, right?
The what?
In a way.
Well, with the what?
It's called a tulpa. It's a mind. It's a thought form. Mm-hmm. If you believe in it strong enough, you know,
can
and
wheel
if you
it.
have the right.
Yeah.
You have the right manifestation techniques and everything. Mm-hmm. It's you can have other people see it and believe it too.
You know, as humans, we're very powerful beings. I think people forget that. I mean, especially people that don't believe in the supernatural, I guess.
I'm just gonna get drunk.
Which is hard for me to believe that. Rev don't kind of see the point in this, because you're a spiritual person. You believe in the Holy Spirit. You believe that miraculously God rose on the third day. I mean, how is this so hard for you to follow along?
It's not so hard to follow along. It's just concepts that I'm not familiar with. Do I believe the mind is uniquely different and special that we can't even fathom just an ounce of? I mean, the fact that we have consciousness, the fact that our consciousness can then interact with other people is so far beyond science that it almost teeters on the supernatural itself, and that's something that we could see.
Well, it's not beyond science because a lot of these things have, there's scientific.
No. What I mean though is nobody can verifiably point to in the brain of there's the conscience right there. That's where all your thoughts come from. Mm-hmm. You can't do that. There's not like, okay, here's where your heartbeat comes. Here's where, when they look at consciousness of the mind, they say, well, there's no way of verifiably saying like, here's where consciousness comes from. Because there's that debate of the soul. Is the consciousness tied with the soul and all these different types of things?
Yeah, are they different? Or
so there's all those different things. So the fact that our minds could literally play tricks on us.
What's interesting, they've done experiments with photons that actually are two things until you recognize what it is. Like if they've done experiments with things like they hide things and it's like, okay, what is it? What color is it? Or what shape is it? And it only becomes that when you see it. It's almost say that's the Matrix, like a computer generated image, like when you're playing a game, it's only generating what you're seeing at that particular time.
But
it's not.
Let me ask this question really quick because it was a question that I had to Randy. We had Randy on who was sharing his paranormal experiences, and he talked about this house that he moved into. I think it was Reno, and there was a presence and a little apparition of an old lady sitting in a chair.
Yeah, like where'd the chair come from? Has the chair got ghosts?
So it's just like and how do you explain those things? Because ultimately, pieces of clothing and physical objects don't have souls, right? I don't know.
I think it's our mind playing the other half of it. But maybe because we know that's a person, we start to fill in the blanks. Our mind automatically starts to fill in the gaps. Maybe I don't know.
But and CJ, please enlighten me as to whatever you believe, because it seems like you've done more studying on this, and I know you have too. But like,
is it because I'm a Raider fan?
But where, like, when people see apparitions that are wearing clothes or holding items,
I seen a pirate. I swear, at the corner of my house. Did you guys hear the last episode today?
No.
Oh, you're doing yourself a disservice. You really got to listen to the show.
Just wait till I tell you my my zombie, not zombie, but like dead cowboy stories from Winchester.
Okay,
nice.
Shut up about your pirate.
Hey, can we go for like an hour with this?
Yeah, go ahead. I want to wait before we.
I need a soundtrack.
Wait. Before I want to finish my question because and that's a critique I've gotten so far. Is like we never finish a thought. So
yeah, I know.
Before we go into it's this ADD hour. We're gonna call this the ADD, not the TAP.
Speaking of ghosts, is your cat in here? Like I thought, I swear I seen. It's just in my head. See, maybe I'm willing it.
Oh, you're willing. You're willing. Yeah, cat.
Playing tricks on you. We're building that energy. So
we're creating the Slender Man in here.
Oh Lord. So anyway, what do you think then?
Oh, I got to drive home by myself. I'm gonna be looking through the rear view like.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Oh, I guess I'm moving in.
You're sleeping down here tonight in the studio.
Yeah.
So when apparitions have physical objects, how do you explain that? Like, because obviously physical objects don't have souls. So how do they appear with the apparition?
Well, like when you're a kid, you have that favorite toy, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, if I lose this toy, I'm going to cry my eyes out, And I think the older you become, like I keep asking myself, because my grandma's getting older and everything. I'm like, what the fuck? Like I asked my mom and I asked my brother. I was like, what the fuck do you get someone who's lived this long? Like, what do you get them?
Yeah, right.
Like it sounds funny, but at the same time, it's like, wow, you lived such a life.
Yeah, I never thought of it that way.
And then, you hold certain like, I guess. Emotional attachments to certain items, and then when you spend most of your days, let's say like with the old woman in the chair, she spends most of her days on that chair. Every emotion she feels, every happiness, sadness, hate, whatever she feels at that moment, it's gonna be sucked into that chair. And it's like, I think we're all energy, when you like like music is energy. When you listen to specific music, you get emotional, you cry, you're like, oh fuck, that hits me.
Yeah.
You know, you get happy, you're like, oh, this is the jam right here.
Yeah, that song takes you back to that particular place and time. You know, same with smells too.
Triggers emotions.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, yeah,
that makes
exactly.
sense. So now, since you piqued our curiosity, I am very curious for you because before I lead into that, because we didn't do a proper introduction. I know there wasn't not much to speak of when we talked in person before, but you were a former employee at the Winchester Mystery House. So we are going to dive into that just a little bit to get some of the things that you've experienced or may have heard, either or. But you mentioned about this experience you've had with some kind of zombie?
Well, okay.
Zombie cowboy.
Cowboy. Yeah, cowboy.
It was like a specter, I guess, because it was like an embodiment. You know, I didn't experience it, but I chased it in a way.
Oh, nice! You're ballsy, bro.
Because there was a bunch of maniacs on that security team, and like we all used to hang out together and just a bunch of maniacs.
And you're talking about with the Winchester Mystery House, you were a security guard.
No, yeah, we're talking about Winchester Mystery House, and I was in the same vicinity as one of my coworkers. She was doing security. I forget her name, really. And I hear this thud, and she passed out, right?
Oh, shit.
And you see her on the floor, and then when she wakes up, she starts talking about, like, oh, who's that cowboy that was, like, right behind me? And we were like, wait, what the fuck? Because there was actors, it's for, like, the haunted maze, whatever. I was doing security on the ground.
Isn't that like a thing they do during Halloween or something?
They did for a while, and I think I participated in, like, the last one.
Okay.
That is crazy.
Yeah, and then there was that, and another coworker said she was walking through the maze, getting to her post, and she ran into somebody. Like she said it was like a black hallway, and she was poof, like she felt the force, and when he turned around, it was just like a dark face, like just very shadowy, but it had a cowboy hat on. And then after her shift, she came out, she's like, oh, that cowboy makeup was just. It was badass. Whoever's doing masks or makeup is badass. We're like, no, we don't have. Our manager's like, no, we don't have any cowboys that look like that.
Yeah.
And they did the lineup with the 3 cowboys, and nothing ever matched. And yeah, that's it with the Cowboys.
So we I think our very first show, we actually talked about the Winchester Mystery House.
Oh yeah.
And there was this video that we had played talking about this experience that a few couples actually had during one of their visits in the ballroom. There's a fireplace in the ballroom, and they reported seeing. They went I don't know if like for those who have never been to the Winchester Mystery House, like you.
Yeah, I've never been there. I was born down the street.
You were supposed to take me.
Oh, that's right. Okay, once COVID is over, we all got to go.
I guess we're not going.
COVID canceled everything. So, anyways, at the end of the tour, you end up in the gift shop, and at a couple. There was one of the employees working at the register, and a couple that was there that did the tour came up to the register and told the cashier, "Oh, it was really nice that you guys had reenactment actors, walking around or doing whatever."
I remember that.
And they said, "Oh yeah, there was an actor that was working on the
putting
fireplace, working on the fireplace in the ballroom." And the cashier said, "No, we didn't have anybody working, any actors today." So she thought it was weird. So anyway, then a couple other couples came up and said the same exact thing.
Dang.
Well, when a couple people were walking around and they were questioning him about it, they saw there's actually a picture in the Winchester house of some of the workers, and somebody actually pointed out, it's that one, white overalls, black curly hair, and he's in the photo. And it was just like there's just instances like that. And that sounds exactly similar to what you're exactly saying. So it just seems like that's a common occurrence, apparently, where you just have people mistaking apparitions for reenactment actors.
But my thing is, are they actually apparitions, or are they doing that whole Slender Man thing when they're going there with the preconceived notion that they're going to see something because they believe it's haunted, and then they will it out of, you know what I mean, out of thin air, you know what I mean? Like, Could that be?
I mean,
could that be it? Like maybe it's all like are recreating it and physically making it manifest. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah. I mean, pretty much. That's a big piece of it. You know, like you go somewhere. Like if you ever been ghost hunting, you know you're tense and you're so focused.
I did that once.
On one. You're
Yes.
so focused, right? And then your friend comes up like, "Hey," you get scared. You're like, "Dude, don't scare me," right? It's like that same. You're building it up, and you're so tensed.
Yeah,
So there is.
Me and my ex coworker, a friend of mine lived in a house she said was haunted. You know, there was things going on. You know, whatever. So she was going out of town for the weekend. And she goes, "You know what? I'll let you guys have free reign in the house. You guys come in. I'll give you a key, whatever." So we spent the night in this house. We turned off all the lights. We did the whole, like, we mimicked what we saw on TV. You know, we put voice recorders, pen and paper out. They want to write. Or, you know, we all took turns of staying in different rooms with the voice recorder, trying to capture. Nothing came out of it. But we went in there with full intentions, thinking we're going to see a ghost or capture some kind of EVP or but no, nothing ever came about. But we were kind of hopeful, so I don't know. It was a trip, but yeah, I actually I tried to go ghost.
Well, what about
hunting once.
have you, CJ? Have you actually been on one of these like ghost tours or ghost hunt like experiences?
No, nothing like. I've only been on like ghost hunts where I could have gotten arrested for going there.
Nice.
Nothing safe really. You know, I had to jump fences, whatever. But yeah, I've been on a couple places like that.
Dude, we gotta go next time. You gotta invite us next time.
Then we got to go to Vegas and go to.
Yeah, with Heather, that'd be dope.
Yeah, definitely. Well, there's a couple groups here in town that we've been wanting to get in contact with. But I know the COVID thing has put a lot of the damper on that because I'm really curious. Because it's like, I'll be honest, in this group here. Oh, that's what I got to do. Maybe I'll pull up the video. But did I share with you that I may have a ghost thing show up on my security camera outside? Did I share that with you?
Oh, that light?
Did I share?
Yeah.
Did I show it? Yeah. So, but besides that, there's nothing that I could definitively say I'm a believer in the paranormal because I necessarily haven't had an experience, like whether it's like the story. Because to me, stories are stories. I've heard stories from people that I trust, but in my mind, I'm like, they're still just stories. Until they actually happen to me, I don't know, like Randy. Okay, so Randy, for instance, was an individual that I never thought would have ever had paranormal experience. I didn't think he'd lend himself to that way of thinking. And what he shared, I would have never have thought that he would believe that stuff, but apparently he does. But
well, I think anybody that's spiritual in a sense would have to believe paranormal.
But what I mean is to that extent, because it's kind of like, okay, so you see that, like, okay, so Randy had the ghost in the chair. He had the paranormal dog scratching up his door.
Well, you know, people saw Jesus when he came back on the third day. I mean, that's a way more substantial paranormal experience, you know. So if we can say that, you know, and take that on face value with faith, I mean, why couldn't we adapt that same mentality into this when we're talking about?
That's a category difference. But let's talk more about the Winchester Mystery House. Now, from what
I'm just saying, there's no proof for either one.
Hold on. Go ahead, CJ.
I mean, I'm not trying to start a debate here or anything.
No, go ahead.
But for anybody like that would.
Because categorically, they're identical. They're the same. They're both paranormal in the essence of the word.
There's a lot of paranormal events that take place in the Bible if you read it carefully.
Yeah, there is.
There's a lot of things that like it's like holy shit. Okay, maybe
calling out on demons and all that stuff.
Well, the interesting part is when you look at the story of the Old Testament with David and Samuel. You got to remember, or not David, but Saul and Samuel. When Saul had Samuel killed, you got to remember Saul was a prophet. So every time he needed Saul, the king, needed direction, he would go to Samuel. Now that Samuel was killed and he had him killed, he actually went to a witch to bring back the soul of Samuel so he could ask for guidance. I don't know if you remember that story, but
or even when Jesus would demand the name of whatever spirit. I mean, because those are all. Let me
finish this thought because so when Saul is brought back, the witch tells back to King Saul is you're an Israelite, or you're you know. So it's just like then she died because it was like she brought back a prophet or something like that. Like it was too.
Well, because these are all
like
Jewish traditions, Kabbalism in a sense. But so categorically, how are they different though? Because you said those are categorically different. Can you elaborate?
Well, I'm
on
elaborating on it because Jesus didn't rise as a specter. He
ghost?
rose bodily. So that's
Like
what I mean.
physically.
Like physically. I'm talking about traditionally. Like when you look at scripture, he didn't rise as a
So
spirit.
like you were able to touch him. And,
Yeah, it was a physical body. That's a theology proper. Jesus rose as
as a human again.
as a human again, not as a spiritual being.
So he. But what happened to his body?
Do you guys ever think? You guys ever think that the Bible is just a metaphor, and maybe they had to write it in such a specific way, so that they themselves wouldn't become prosecuted for believing something?
There's a lot of poetic language.
ultimately.
Yeah, for sure. Actually, what if the Bible was written by the devil? In a sense. I mean, we don't know.
That could be a possibility. That'd be tight.
I mean, because if you think about it, I mean, everything the devil came to do is in the Bible. Still kill and destroy, in a sense. I mean, everybody's killed, steal, and destroy over again.
He only shows up. I think he only shows up like twice.
But then again, what the devil actually do though? I'm not talking. That's a broad term. That's like the word paranormal, because there was more than one devil, if you will. But like Lucifer, for instance, what did he do that was wrong?
You got to remember, even Jesus calls Peter Satan, so it's kind of like Satan necessarily isn't the name of a specific person. It's
just like
title.
Christ, it's a title.
Technically, yeah.
Throughout many different belief systems, Satan is just a word for the accuser, for the one to blame, for the one to cast out. It's just like that's why the term scapegoat, and they would figure that they would cast their sins onto the goat and then send them out into the desert.
Far away. Yeah.
So therefore, it's the scapegoat.
Yeah.
You put all your worries and troubles on there, and then it goes away.
Yeah.
But here's the teaser. It really doesn't. So.
I have a worry stone.
Okay, so that's really interesting. We got a little biblical there, but
which is good, because I think you have to. I mean, any religion, anything that has to do with any kind of spirituality. I would even go as far as to say witchcraft, because we all in every facet of any kind of religion, it's all paranormal in its core, in a sense, because we all have to take that measure of faith. In every religion, there's always that measure of faith. We don't know the end. We don't know what's going to, we always have to believe that there's some kind of higher power out there in control. And I believe that's the case here in paranormal too, even though we can't all see it. Like Rev hasn't seen one. I haven't seen one. But who's to say we're wrong to say that they do exist, or who am I to say they don't exist?
So I will say this. I've never seen Jesus in physical form. I've never seen a miracle. I've never seen certain things, and that I would still believe. Now, so it's just that when it comes to the paranormal, there's just a variety of categories. Some people see this, some people hear this, some people experience this, some people see things that just go across their,
Can we call them miracles? It's a miracle it's a miracle that he's seen that, because Jesus performed a lot of miracles. A lot of people didn't see him. We've heard there were stories passed down orally through tradition. So, but the Bible got away with it by calling them miracles. So I would say it's a miracle that you guys saw a ghost. Couldn't we call it that? And can we bring it into that context, right?
True. Let's.
Because you're chosen. You were chosen by that ghost. It's a miracle, man. I didn't see a ghost.
When I saw a ghost, when I was like 17. I don't know if you remember that one, Nerdy.
No, go ahead.
Oh, man. Hold on. Let me put a soundtrack.
And you guys talking about, how your friend who's religious and he had a ghost experience. When I had this one, that's when I was very much involved in, the church and all that stuff.
Oh, that cult we're all,
this
all
one
a part
I remember.
I
know.
Yeah, the cult.
Not speak its name.
Yeah. Don't say it 3 times, because bad things happen.
You'll get sued.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was when I was like 17. I remember, the house in the very back where my room was, that we converted into rooms.
Yeah.
I remember sitting on my bed, the ceiling lights on. It was bright as, at night, bright as can be. I was sitting on my bed, and I didn't have a closet, but I had one of those things for your racks for your clothes.
Yeah.
But I was sitting on my bed and I was seeing a shadow ball pretty much going from under my bed, coming out to the middle of the room and going into the clothes that were hanging, and just kept going back and forth.
Dang.
And it scared me so bad I was crying on the bed, and I'm calling, one of the leaders from the church, or texting, I can't remember, because I was so scared and I didn't know what to do. And I was like paralyzed out of fear because that shadow kept moving all over the floor.
What the heck?
And it just kept going.
And it was like a ball, you said, like a sphere?
I remember being like a shadowy ball kind of thing.
What the heck?
Like fuzzy. And it was like a shadow just moving.
What if these ghosts and stuff that we experience, what if it's like glitches in the Matrix? Maybe the supercomputer couldn't keep up with our reality as we know it.
Yeah. So how did? So yeah, because I remember that we talked about that last time.
Yeah.
You had these things that were just running across the floor. You thought it was your cat, but it just wasn't.
Dang, that's crazy.
Our rats. Or mice.
I'm sincerely scared of driving home today.
So
I'm actually scared to drive home right now.
you could sleep with me.
Yeah. Once I get a buzz, I'm like, fuck it.
Nervous.
Well, because I remember I talked about this one time about my old Honda. I had a Honda. I had a 2002, I think it was. And I don't know, you guys probably don't know, but Rev probably knows, when you have a kid in the car seat and then they're kicking the back of the seat that it's at the back of my seat, right? So you could feel it. You could feel it, And sometimes, when I had to go to work, it'd be at 3:34 in the morning, and I'll be on the freeway, and I swear I could feel like someone like pushing the back of the seat, and I'm like, don't look in the. But it felt like when little kids do it, you know what I'm saying? When they're sitting in the car seat and they're just, and I'm thinking to myself, don't look in the fucking rear view mirror. So I would chicken out, bro. And I'll pull into a gas station to go get a coffee or something. So I'll pull in underneath all the lights and shit. I'll hop out the car, I'm like, fuck, I'll go get coffee. And I'm in the store looking out the window at my car, like, at least I have a little notice if something comes out, And like, oh, there's nothing in there. So I get in my car and take off. But yeah, a couple times that's happened, dude. It was a trip. Crazy. Anyway, I don't know. That's why I'm scared to drive home by myself.
That's why he's scared right now.
I really am.
Just drive with all the lights on inside.
Yeah, no shit. I'll just take an Uber home.
So anyway, back to but what if the Uber driver's a ghost?
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Like in Ghostbusters when they get in the cab.
Yeah.
I mean, my cheap ass be like, do I still have to pay? Or like.
So back to this whole Winchester Mystery. How long did you work at the Winchester Mystery House?
It was like a seasonal period. It was for the entire like the Maze event. So it was like the tail end of September, all of October, and I believe like the first week of November.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you get a job like that? They just come up to you and be like, hey, do you want to see ghosts? Or like
Oh no, it was one of my homies. He worked there the year before. He's like, hey dude, he's like, you want to do security? I was like, fuck it, let's do it.
Nice.
So
that's pretty cool though. Were you creeped out at all? I mean, did you personally feel anything?
No, wait, hold on. Before you took the job, what did you know about the Winchester Mystery House?
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
I went in because at that time, it was back in 2012. At that time, there was like a big wave. I don't know if you guys remember, but everybody was saying the Winchester wasn't actually haunted.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I was like, fuck it, I'll do it. I get to be on the grounds. I get to walk around. I get to check everything out.
Yeah, you get to see all the stuff behind the scenes and whatnot.
It was dope. It was tight. So.
That is pretty sick, though.
Yeah.
Well, because
so okay, but before you took the job and you decided to work there, you heard some things about the Winchester that it potentially was haunted. But did you believe it was haunted?
I believe it was because when you look at the map of what the Winchesters own.
We're having technical internet difficulties. CJ, I'm sorry, you froze for a second. You want to go back to
what they owned?
What they owned, yeah, because that's where you cut off. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, I'm just saying, when you look at the how big the map was of what they own. You know, the land, they own land. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
when you go out there, it's all freeway and, you know, apartment buildings now and whatever, and you're like, I'm sure this whole piece of land has some shit. You know, it's not too many people survived back in those days, you know.
No.
Well,
So
my-
it wasn't great healthcare back
Well,
then.
my thing is though, why them? Why Winchester repeating arms? Because at that time you had more popular weapon manufacturers like Colt, Smith and Wesson.
But here,
You know,
no, and I
that were
understand
actually used by the military.
But-
Winchesters were bought third party. Like people in the army back then, they weren't issued Winchester rifles. They would have to buy their own most of the time.
No, but here's the reason why. So, so when it comes to the Winchester Mystery House, do I believe that it's haunted? I would possibly say maybe not. There are a lot of stories, and here's my reasoning. Because when I was doing some research on the Winchester Mystery House, actually Harry Houdini himself spent time in the Winchester Mystery House, because Harry Houdini was famous for going around and exposing a lot of these fake mediums. You know, I don't know if you're familiar with that. He went around going to see for mediums and people who said they had spirit, because there's a lot of con artists back in those days.
Well, back then it was
people.
It was actually taboo not to have seances.
Well,
you know what I mean? Because people would invite,
but
do stuff like that.
Harry Houdini, as a magician, as an illusionist, you know, he knew the tricks of the
He would
trade.
expose them all the time.
He was exposing them because they were vindictive, or they not vindictive, but they were preying on the emotions of people who wanted to be reconnected with the spirit world. And I don't know if he actually believed in the supernatural or spirits. I don't think he did actually, but he wanted to prove that the Winchester Mystery House wasn't haunted, or it wasn't called the Mystery House back then. But there were stories circulating because Sarah Winchester was building this house supposedly to confuse the spirits that were haunting her, because she lost her husband, she lost a child, I think it was, like she just had tragedy.
But all that
following
wasn't uncommon back then.
Well, yeah, I know, but it was just she had spoke to a medium that suggested that all these bad things were happening to her because of the spirits of the individuals that were killed by the Winchester rifle.
Maybe since how we were talking about this just not too long ago, maybe she willed it into existence. Maybe. But honestly, I don't know, because actually looking at some of the history as well, and especially knowing the financial status that she had, and at that time, I mean, I'm not saying it was before the Great Depression, obviously, but I think she was just trying to keep people employed.
Maybe.
Because, I mean, people were working 24 hours a day, apparently, from the movie. I don't know about that being factual. But still, she had the money to burn, literally. And at that time, it was like, hey, let's keep the economy going. I'm invested here. Let's keep it going. Let's make this boomtown into an actual city. So what better way than to put money in the economy and say, you know what, I'll just keep paying fools to start building some shit, you know, whatever. Free reign. Because if you take the story and if you believe the story, then there was other great manufacturers that built firearms that killed way more people than Winchester did.
But now it's a tourist attraction, and they have to sell it. That's what. But like I said, not to say that the stories are not legitimate. But anyways, but in your experience because you're living in San Jose. I mean, I was born in San Jose, but I didn't grow up there.
Yeah, I didn't.
You know,
either.
growing up in San Jose, and as well as working at the Winchester Mystery House, what is your final thought on what you experienced there, and what you would say? Oh yeah, it's haunted, or it's not haunted. What do you think?
Something's there. I don't know if it's haunted. Because haunted could be I don't know if it's derogatory, but haunted kind of like, now when you think of it, it's kind of like a bad thing. It's like haunted, but something's there.
That's
Maybe
derogatory to ghosts. That's derogatory to ghosts.
We're gonna get canceled by all the ghosts now. They're gonna complain.
I'm not saying that it's not haunted. I mean, I think anything could be haunted, or any place, or even person.
Yeah.
But I think that it's for sure everything. Any one of these fanciful tales are going to be elaborated. But my case in point is, like I was saying, you know, Winchester didn't. That's not even his design. He bought that when the patent ran out. You know, it was the Volcanic and all these other guns that had the same repeating action that predate the Winchester.
If anything, it could have been brought on by someone working there. You know, a lot of these dudes, they're, you know, it's the Wild West. They're trying to get money and trying to do whatever the fuck they're trying to do. So, you know, back then, I mean, even now, the church is still very oppressive, and they try to make things their way.
Yeah.
So, you know, there could be someone like, you know what, I'm just going to offer some shit up to the devil. like the devil, you know, the pointy horns, the wings, the tail, red skin. Like they were there. They probably actually believed it, and they probably offered something, and they probably did it themselves, and in turn could have seen Sarah Winchester as, I don't know, something that stood in the way. Maybe, I don't know. It's just a thought. Like it probably didn't even necessarily have to be her. Just something on the grounds. And plus, there could have been like a lot of killing amongst the workers, you know. There's a bunch of dudes probably pissed off at each other. So,
well, you know what I think is more probable than that even is jealousy. Someone being jealous of her for some reason and cursing her in her lineage or cursing her in her money, you know. Because what better curse would it be than say, okay, I curse your money, but obviously it's going to be in banks and stuff. You can't get to it, but she's going to literally be spending so much money to build this house that in essence, she's still losing her money. You know what I mean? Like, okay, well, I curse you. You're going to eventually in 100 million years, because she has so much money, especially back then, if you convert it to now, you know what I mean? And I believe in curses in a way. Honestly do, because I know my great grandmother had a bunch of. That's another story for next week.
Day.
But I do believe that those things could happen if you believe in them. Like I think we empower our own curse.
Well, even if you don't believe in them, they can get you.
Well, you know what? I think maybe. I don't know honestly, but it'd be something interesting to look into because I believe. We were told there's a curse that happened on my great grandma. But then when you look at my grandma, my mom, and now our generation, I think we're still reaping that curse in a way with health issues, you know what I mean? And it's very odd how things transpired and how things continue to transpire. But actually, you know, I'd want to do my research. I want to talk to my mom and get family history and stuff and put together a nice podcast on that about family curses. Now, do you believe there is family curses, and you think that's related to to Mary Winchester? I think her name is Sarah Winchester. Could that be something that played along?
Mary was her
daughter or cousin. Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, there was. Yeah,
shows how much I know. But you know, could I'm just saying. I think that might be a little more probable. If someone was jealous of her, the wealth of the family, and was like, you know what, fuck this bitch. You know, we're gonna curse this shit. You know what I'm saying? You know, like I think that might be the most probable answer if there is one. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Like, honestly, do you believe in curses that way, or do you think it's just?
I mean, you want to go first?
No.
Are you sure? All right.
Are you being shy, Bina Meow, over there?
No. Generational curses, yeah, I believe like it could happen, but it takes one person to start it, but it also takes one person to end it. Like you can easily sever yourself away from a generational curse with study and practice and implementation of, you know, studies and practices.
Right. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. Yeah.
Because I think drug addiction could be a generational curse. You know, alcoholism could be a generational curse.
I don't know who taught you this hate speech, but there's nothing wrong with alcohol. No, just kidding.
Oh, there's nothing wrong at all. You know, at the same time, it's like my dad has my sperm donor has a gambling problem.
Yeah, nice.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, he has a gambling problem. Do I have a gambling problem? No, that shit's stupid. You know.
Right. But yeah, I'm too much of a cheap ass to gamble. I really don't gamble. I'm like, dude.
You know, it's like, oh, I'm sorry, you know, I don't have this disease or anything. I'm gonna fucking win all the time. Right. So, you know, like I at that point I broke it. You know. Nice. So I would say so, but you know, that could be a form of a generational curse. Like just to never ever be comfortable, to always have your money stripped away from you for something stupid. And there could be different forms of generational curses, you know.
Yeah, but that's a good way of looking at it, man. I really do appreciate your insight, especially when you were saying studying and learning about, because that's where I'm at right now, personally, in my personal life. I've always wondered, I've always thought, I always felt like in my heart of hearts that we're under this, because the story is interesting, but I want to devote an episode to it in and of itself, because it's actually a really interesting story. And I call it a story because I'm kind of on the fence on the whole generational thing, or curses for that matter. but I want to research it and break it if there is such a thing. You know, that's kind of where I'm at though right now. And it's weird that you said that. I think this synchronicity is the universe speaking to me.
Careful with those words.
Yeah. Because I do believe in synchronicities, and it's weird because I was just thinking about this, and then you said it, so it's like it's meant to. Yes, universe.
Oh, you guys are kindred spirits.
Yeah, we're gonna start our periods on the same day now. I think I'm ovulating.
I think that's just because I'm on screen.
Oh yeah.
He is a sexy beast, isn't he?
Yeah. Oh, they're looking like Aquaman.
Now you want to run your fingers through my beard.
Looking like Aquaman.
They're looking like Thor. Gonna rain that thunder down.
You better watch out. The only beast in the backseat of your car be me.
Hey, don't threaten me with a good time. I can't wait to drive home now. Shit. I get pulled over. They're like, "Sir, why are you naked? You don't see the ghost back there? Really gentle, really small fingers. I don't even know you still. I can't even tell if he's still back there. What the hell? We got to cut this out. This is a blooper reel. Let's keep it in there.
You're gonna feel this.
You little pervert. How did we get on this topic? Jesus.
Oh, this is fun. This
This
is why I love doing this show right here.
This would be a perfect time to have like a commercial button and be like.
So, anyways, I'm looking at the clock right now. We're coming up to an hour already. Jeez. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna close off on a couple of different little questions I have. Mainly, what? Because you said you haven't done much. Like,
I'll teach him.
much along the lines of like ghost hunting, right? Are you curious about it, exploring that, or is that something you're just like, you know what, you can't tamper with the supernatural like that because you may uncover something you may not want to see?
I mean, it's very entertaining to watch because I love Ghost Adventures, right?
Yeah.
Ghost Adventures is super entertaining. Is what they're doing real? It's a very good possibility that it's the legit shit, But I think that I don't think that everybody should watch that show and be like, okay, this is what we need to do on Friday night. No.
Right.
I think if you take the time to respect it, just like those guys have.
That's the key word, respect. Yeah.
Well, that's what we were talking about with Heather. This idea is like the reason why she does her one. I mean, if you haven't, you should follow her too. Heather,
Ghost Talks and all that.
She does the Ghost Education 101 courses where she actually brings in other paranormal investigators from across the country and actually teaches
authors
all these different things about how to do it. Because there is like I said, just because I don't necessarily believe in it, I still. You're right. You're completely right. There is a supernatural element even to believing in Christianity. Okay, there is a supernatural. There are. If you believe what the Bible says, or
even like Buddhist or Tibetanist,
it doesn't matter. There's a spiritual element to it, and if you don't respect it,
dude.
If you don't have not reverence, like you're worshiping.
No, but it's like that common courtesy. Let's just call it that.
Yeah. Well, for instance, when you look in the New Testament, the book of Acts, I don't know if you remember the story. I don't know if you're familiar with the story where these fake apostles were going out casting out demons. And they come to this one demon-possessed person, and the demons speak back to these people because they were frauding people. Like like certain organizations we were a part of for a while. God. So they were frauding.
About a hundred.
But so the demons actually spoke back as all. Peter, I know. Paul, I know. You, I don't know. And they actually, the demons actually like beat up these guys, stripped them naked, and they flee naked. Because they were messing around with something they didn't know what they were doing.
You see, okay, TAP listeners, man, things like this, I would like to do like series on, like really get in depth in it in the Bible, get deep in depth in the study of it, and then try to do like a series because I think this is all fascinating. I mean,
it is.
Like maybe have Pastor Scott on here and talk about it, and just get his point of view because I don't know nothing. I've never been to any kind of.
Well, there are some people that I know that have actually performed exorcisms, so we can talk about that. And last,
I've I don't know if we performed one, but going back to generational curses, I had a friend of mine. He's Irish blood, and he kept telling us throughout the time we were hanging out. He's all, yeah, one of my great uncles, or triple great uncles, triple great grandfathers was a witch hunter in Ireland.
Oh,
He's all, and
that is badass.
It's bad, but apparently the witch is hunting down that family line like relentless.
It's like still to this day.
Yeah.
Oh,
and I've seen my homie become possessed like right in front of me.
Oh,
no way.
Geez.
I see my dad possessed, like real talk. Well, maybe he was tweaking. But yeah, no, legit. No, but legit, like I shared the story before. Like my dad was on the floor, like in the movies. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? He's on the, and he was going in and out. Like he was growling and doing all these weird noises. And then he'll snap to, and he would tell my mom in Spanish, "Get a priest. Go call the cops. Get a priest. Somebody. I need an exorcism." And we're like, what the fuck? We're like, oh, dude, because we know my dad. I love him to death. And
I remember.
He had his problems, as we all do, And he was trying to better himself, and I commend him for that. But at that particular time, he was at a low place in his life. And so my mom calls the cops. They get here, and it was like 6 cops just to try to put him in handcuffs. So they take him to the mental health clinic. He does his whole 3-day stint there. Well, the next day... Well, that whole night, I fell asleep. I put on worship music and shit. I was like, I put on gospel music. I'm like, well, so the next day.
The power of Christ.
Yeah, the power. I did a young priest and an old priest. There was flies everywhere. I'm like, I shit myself. No, just kidding. And well, anyway, so the next day.
Wait, for reals on the flies?
No, I'm just kidding. But
because you know that's a real thing, right?
Is it? No, I did not know that, man. That is crazy.
Oh my god. Okay, so look, we're
at 56 minutes, right?
We're at 56 minutes, so I don't want to get it because this is something that we need.
Well, we got to make a series. Like if you guys want to join us, come in studio next time. We'll do a series.
Yeah, once you get your test results back from your Rona, then we'll.
The power of Rona compels you.
I don't have the Rona. I just smoke a lot of weed. I cough all the time.
Last time I smoked weed. Last time I smoked weed, and this is a true story, you could ask my brother-in-laws, I pissed in the kitty litter box at my brother-in-law's house.
At least it absorbed it.
No, and I thought I was, well, okay, so the next day I wake up, had no recollection of it. I was hammered, and apparently I was high, right? I don't even remember smoking the weed. And so the next day I wake up, like nothing ever happened, just hung over, right? Didn't even think nothing about it. My nephews and my son, they're like, hey, you remember what you did last night, right? I was like, what? Like, you woke up out of nowhere and you just started pissing in the kitty litter box. I'm like, bullshit. And they're like, yeah. So I go check the kitty litter box. I have pictures of it. Big old fucking clump of clay. I was like, oh shit. I was like, I did? And they're like, yeah, dude. And they're like, we're telling you because it was in their laundry room. And they're like, what are you doing, Jose? And they're like, you were just sitting there going, oh.
Sabrina has kitty litter boxes.
Would you shitty wake up? You said, what the? Jose must have been here. There's a pile of fucking.
The cat's covered in poop.
I wiped with your cat.
Anyways.
I tell my brother-in-law, I go, next time I smoke that shit, I'm going to shit in the kitty litter box. Just teach y'all a lesson. Knowing I'm drunk as fuck trying to get me high. Anyway, go ahead. Take us out, Rev.
So anyways, look, I know that was an interesting ending to the show, but we were thrilled to have again another paranormal conversation. Please go back and listen to our talks with Heather. Both of them, they're very interesting. Everything we talked about today is very interesting, and I can't wait to continue these conversations. So CJ, thank you for coming on. Bina, thank you for coming on. We need to keep doing this. Do it again in person. Come to the studio once Rona clears up. Okay, I can look in your face. I can see you got the Rona.
Rona.
Anyways, this is your boy, Rev the Servant, here with Play B, CJ and Bina, and you have been tagged.